At 8 a.m. in Central Park, two blonde girls are enjoying the sunny weather along with other park visitors, when suddenly, a powerful gust of wind sweeps through the park, making the tree branches sway ominously. One of the girls hears a scream coming from nearby, and when she turns around to look, she sees that all the other people in the park have frozen in place, standing completely still. She calls out to her friend, but instead of responding, the friend pulls a hair stick out of her bun and forcefully stabs herself in the neck. Meanwhile, at a nearby construction site, workers are taking a break and chatting, when suddenly, the other workers begin to fall to their deaths one after another. The foreman, horrified and in tears, watches helplessly as more workers calmly walk off the edge of the building one by one. Elsewhere, a high school science teacher named Elliot is in the middle of a lesson when suddenly the principal interrupts and asks Elliot to come to the auditorium. There, all the teachers have been gathered as the principal informs them of a potential terrorist attack involving a chemical virus released in the air near Central Park. The symptoms include rambling speech, disorientation, and ultimately uncontrollable self-harm leading to death. The teachers are instructed to immediately stop classes and send students home. After the students leave, Elliot's close friend and colleague Julian urges him to leave Philadelphia with him by train. Julian goes home to pick up his daughter, while Elliot returns to his wife, Alma. At home, Alma is watching the news about the evacuation of New York, reporting that the mysterious virus triggers self-destructive behavior in anyone exposed. At the train station, as people prepare to leave, they hear broadcasts reporting that the virus is spreading quickly through the New York metropolitan area. Elliot and Alma board the train with Julian and his daughter. Julian's wife, however, is stuck in traffic while out shopping, but she promises to meet them on the next train. Soon, reports confirm that the eastern states have also been affected. The passengers grow increasingly worried and make calls to loved ones as the news spreads. Julian manages to contact his wife, who is safe, but on a bus heading east. Moments later, the train unexpectedly stops in a small rural town. Elliot approaches the conductors and demands an explanation. They reveal that the train had to stop because all communication has been lost. With no direction, the group settles temporarily in a local bistro. Hours pass before a new broadcast airs. The authorities are now unsure if the events are due to terrorism, as the number of deaths keeps climbing. The attacks appear to be limited to the northeastern states, and now even small towns are being affected. Suddenly, the power goes out, cutting off water and electricity. Panic spreads as people rush to their vehicles, trying to escape the danger. Most refuse to offer rides, but a kind landscape gardener offers Elliot and his group a seat in his car. Julian says that he hasn't heard from his wife in over 2 hours. He leaves his daughter in Elliot's care and goes off with some strangers to try to find his wife. Julian eventually arrives in the town where his wife was last known to be. There, he witnesses several road workers have hanged themselves from trees. Julian quickly tells the others to close the car vents to block the wind, but he notices a small opening on the car's roof and realizes it may be too late. Seconds later, the car crashes into a tree, killing everyone inside except Julian, who crawls out and sits in the middle of the road. Shortly after, he picks up a shard of glass and ends his life by cutting his wrist. Back with Elliot's group, they continue searching for an unaffected route, but find none. Along the way, they meet a private soldier and a few more survivors. They come across bodies along the roads, clear signs that the virus has already spread there too. The private soldier gathers everyone's attention and announces that they are currently within the zone of the virus attacks and suggests they head for a small, isolated town that has less population concentration. They divide into 2 groups as Elliot, his wife Alma, and Julian's daughter form the smaller group. Along the way, a strong breeze rushes through the trees, and moments later, Elliot hears gunshots echo from behind. Realizing what this means, Elliot concludes the second group has been exposed to the airborne virus. As the wind changes direction and heads toward his group, he quickly instructs everyone to separate into smaller units to reduce the risk. While searching for safety, they spot a house and decide to shelter inside temporarily. Elliot searches for a map, hoping to locate the smallest, least populated area nearby. After finding a potential location, the group hurries to leave, fearing that more people might arrive soon and draw the virus. As they flee, they spot crowds moving toward the house, and soon after, they witness the horrifying scene as those people fall victim to the virus and begin to kill themselves. They continue walking and eventually come across a fenced, barricaded house. Elliot and the teens politely request food, but the man inside rudely denies them. The boys try to break in, ignoring the man's warning. In response, the man suddenly opens the door and fatally shoots one of them. Elliot yells for him to stop, but the man fires again, executing the second boy with a shot to the head. Julian's daughter runs away, and Elliot and Alma immediately chase after her. They continue walking through the countryside until they find an old, isolated farmhouse. They meet the owner, an older woman with unsettling manners. Although she offers them food and a place to stay, her behavior is cold and rigid. She shows them a small spring house in the back and mentions a speaking pipe beneath the main house that allows communication between the two buildings. Later, she shows them the guest room, and the girl quickly falls asleep, while Elliot and Alma remain awake, uneasy about the old woman's behavior. The next morning, Elliot wakes up and notices Alma and the girl are missing from the bed. He searches for the old woman to ask about them, but finds only an open door. Suddenly, the old woman appears, furious, and accuses Elliot of trying to steal from her. Elliot denies it and tries to explain, but she tells him to leave immediately. As she storms out of the house, a gust of wind blows through the area. Elliot realizes what's happening and rushes back inside. The old woman, now infected, begins smashing her head violently against the windows. Elliot watches in horror and quickly hides in a room and seals the door to avoid exposure. Then he hears his wife's voice and follows the sound, eventually locating a cave-like room that's connected to the speaking pipe the old woman mentioned earlier. Through the pipe, he tells his wife what happened and warns her to close all windows and doors. Trapped and unable to escape, Elliot and Alma begin to speak lovingly through the tube, reminiscing about their relationship. Overwhelmed with emotion and unwilling to hide anymore, Elliot steps outside to face death with Alma. In the open field, Elliot, Alma, and Julian's daughter reunite, embracing as they await what they believe will be their end. But nothing happens, and they remain completely unharmed. 3 months later, life has returned to normal. The couple has adopted the girl and settled into a new routine. Alma waits nervously for the result of a pregnancy test, and when the test confirms she's pregnant, she joyfully surprises Elliot with the news. Meanwhile, a scientist appears on television, discussing the event. He theorizes that the incident was a warning from nature, that humanity has become a threat to the planet, and that this incident may be just the beginning unless people change their behavior. The movie ends in another country, where once again, signs of the same virus begin to appear, hinting that the nightmare may be starting all over again.